Let's jump right in. Welcome to this explainer. Now, at first glance, the events of this past week might seem totally disconnected, right? Just scattered headlines from across the globe. But if we start connecting the dots, they actually reveal a massive, high-stakes strategy that is literally reshaping the world's economy as we speak.
So we start with the optics in Beijing. If you've been following the news at all, you probably saw this. Elon Musk brought his toddler, little X, to a massive global summit with his traditional Chinese-style embroidered vest and that adorable tiger crossbody bag. I mean, the kid completely stole the show. It went incredibly viral. But here's the thing. This wholesome, highly public dad moment, it perfectly masked a massive, interconnected global strategy that was operating just beneath the surface.
And it's fascinating to look at how casually Musk acted in what is honestly a highly secure, high-stakes diplomatic venue. Instead of looking tense or guarded, he's basically playing the role of the meme-loving dad, just vlog filming his trip on his phone. At one point, looking at the architecture, he just laughs and says, "That's a really big hole." He leaned completely into the moment, making funny faces for the cameras while all these top-tier diplomats hovered right nearby. But you really have to contrast that casual, almost playful demeanor with the sheer power sitting at the table. You have world leaders like US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping, key political figures like Marco Rubio, alongside absolute tech titans like Apple's Tim Cook and NVIDIA's Jensen Huang. Make no mistake, this wasn't a casual get-together. It was an unprecedented gathering to figure out the future of global trade and AI dominance.
Now you might be wondering, why on earth are tech CEOs playing informal diplomats alongside these politicians? Well, it all comes down to leverage. The US brings immense leverage to the table with its semiconductor dominance and corporate strength, which is exactly why those CEOs were brought along. But China holds the ultimate trump card, absolute dominance in mining, processing, and refining rare earth minerals. These are the physical building blocks of literally all modern technology.
To put that into perspective, just one single F-35 fighter jet requires 900 kilograms of rare earth minerals. That's a massive amount, and it relies on a global supply chain currently dominated by China, who has definitely shown a willingness to place export controls on these materials. This exact dynamic forced the US to bring its top semiconductor leverage to the negotiating table. We're looking at an incredibly delicate balance of power over the physical materials that run our entire world.
But get this, the Beijing Summit was literally just the tip of the iceberg. We have to look at the ruthless corporate maneuvering happening simultaneously back in the US, because the geopolitical chess match, that's really only half the story of this week.
While Musk was busy shaking hands in China, his legal team was laying the groundwork for an absolutely massive courtroom battle stretching into a projected 2026 timeline against OpenAI's Sam Altman and Greg Brockman. This lawsuit centers entirely on OpenAI's shift away from the nonprofit model Musk helped found back in 2015 over to a highly lucrative for-profit model. Musk is demanding massive restitution here, claiming a breach of charitable trust. And the real smoking gun is revealed in courtroom diaries kept by Greg Brockman. Right before a strategy meeting in 2017, he wrote, "The true answer is we want him out." So what we're learning is that beneath all those noble public discussions about AI safety, there was this fierce, cutthroat power struggle for control of the startup. Actually, Musk himself had previously tried to take control of OpenAI and merge it into Tesla to make it a for-profit entity. If you ever want to see how fast the chess pieces move in the AI world, just look at this rapid reversal. Barely 2 months ago, Elon Musk was publicly calling Anthropic, which is OpenAI's biggest rival, misanthropic and evil. There was genuine public bad blood there. But pivot to today, and SpaceX has announced a massive compute partnership with them. They basically buried the hatchet because, well, they realized their shared problem is OpenAI. This deal is honestly staggering. It gives Anthropic access to 300 megawatts of compute power from SpaceX's massive data center. Before this, Anthropic had incredible AI models, but they were entirely demand-strangled. Their users were hitting rate limits in hours because they literally could not plug in enough power fast enough to serve their Claude models to customers. This deal immediately solves that massive bottleneck. So where is this massive influx of power actually coming from? The Colossus One data center in Memphis. This facility is the size of a small city. It houses over 220,000 advanced NVIDIA GPUs. But here's the crazy part. It was originally built to train Musk's own AI model, Grok. By renting it out to Anthropic, SpaceX is effectively pausing its own model's priority to lock in a multi-billion-dollar recurring revenue stream from a paying tenant. Which brings us to a foundational concept you really need to grasp to see where all of tech is heading: the AI hyperscaler. This represents a monumental shift from just coding software
to becoming the ultimate landlord of compute. It's all about owning the physical infrastructure, the chips, the data centers, the power grids that makes AI possible in the very first place. And that leads us to a massive realization. SpaceX is no longer just a rocket company. Not anymore. By quietly absorbing xAI in an all-stock merger that values the combined entity at roughly $2 trillion, SpaceX has pivoted. They've become an unprecedented AI infrastructure juggernaut.
Let's actually build this vertically integrated stack from the ground up to see how it works. It starts with launches via Starship rockets, which ties right into gigawatt-scale data centers for energy. From there, it moves to physical chips with proposed 2-nanometer manufacturing, global data transmission through the Starlink satellite network, and finally, hosting the models themselves. They are controlling every single layer of the process.
I absolutely love this industrial age analogy because it perfectly clarifies the strategy we're witnessing here. Compute is the new oil. Megawatts are the pipelines. Chips are the refineries. And the AI models, they're just the gasoline. Gasoline is becoming commoditized and easily replaced. But whoever owns the refineries and the pipelines, they control the entire industry.
Just look at the sheer scale of the mechanics at play. Starship could eventually make it cheap enough to literally launch data centers into space. They're proposing a $119 billion chip fab. Starlink already has over 10,000 satellites up in orbit. And with a $60 billion option to buy Cursor, the leading AI developer surface, the ambition isn't just to build a piece of the puzzle, it's to own the entire board.
So if you take away one thing from this explainer, it should be encapsulated right here. The moat used to be the model, now it is everything below the model. The old assumption for the last decade was that the smartest researchers would win the AI race. Well, that era is dead. The new race is entirely about owning the physical foundation that the software relies on. And this completely exposes the structural trap that OpenAI is caught in right now. While OpenAI is locked into renting compute from big tech giants like Microsoft, SpaceX is applying the exact same vertical integration playbook that Tesla used to crush legacy automakers. But this time, they are applying it to artificial intelligence. They aren't just making the car anymore. They are building the roads, the gas stations, and the oil refineries.
We've zoomed all the way out from a viral toddler in Beijing to the dawn of a completely new industrial era. And it leaves us with one massive, lingering question about the rapid consolidation of global technological power. When one single company owns the rockets, the power, the chips, and the satellites, who really controls the future? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope it helped connect the dots for you, and I'll see you next time.